All right, guys, another victory for the Milwaukee Bucks over the Toronto Raptors. This is the Hoops Nerd postgame show. That was a pretty dominating performance from the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, I kind of wondered about the Milwaukee Bucks going into the playoffs if some of what they were doing was more regular season, playing bad teams, beating up on the bad teams, and then just beating the good teams, you know, maybe closer. No, the Bucks are that good. They are just that dominant. They don't have any weaknesses. They don't really have any way you can just stop them. Really, the only weakness they kind of have is that you can stay off of Giannis and hope that he misses a three. But outside of that, there's just not a lot you can do. One thing I've learned through this playoffs of watching the Raptors, Bucks, the Western Conference, all these different playoff teams, in a lot of ways, you're only as good as your secondary players. Like the best teams that are still left in these playoffs, they have, you know, Giannis is the MVP and he's on the Milwaukee. Toronto has Kawhi Leonard, top 5 player in the NBA. And then we know in the West, you've got Dame, who top 10 player, probably Dame Lillard. And then you've got Steph Curry and basically their entire team on the Golden State Warriors. But when you're getting led by your guy like that, like Kawhi or Giannis, a lot of times you're just as good as those secondary players. Like when Kawhi and Giannis draw all that gravity to them, you're only as good as when they kick it out to your guy like a Kyle Lowry or a Malcolm Brogdon. Do they make the shot? You know? For Milwaukee, they make the shots. They're so good. Chris Middleton, who's an all-star this year, is a fantastic secondary option. The Bucks' depth is honestly remarkable, and I don't ever want to hear that depth doesn't matter in the playoffs, like ever again. Kawhi in this series, he just can't rest. There is just no time where it's okay for him to rest because the secondary players, as soon as he does, they crap the bed. You know, he goes to the bench and the Bucks will immediately go on a run. And it's hard for them to stop the Bucks from going on a run even when Kawhi's in the game. Because when you consider they've got Bledsoe, Middleton, Mirotic, Brogdon, George Hill was incredible against the Celtics. And if you get good George Hill and Ilyasova, who was fantastic tonight, I mean, the list goes on and on. Connaughton was incredible against Boston. And if he's hitting shots, the Bucks are just remarkable. I don't know what you're supposed to do. Brook Lopez is hitting big time shots and he's the reason they won game 1. Unbelievable. Kawhi's got to be a little tired of just like, you know, secondary players not hitting shots. Game 1, Kyle Lowry was big time. Tonight, you needed another big game from Toronto. And you look at that starting lineup for the Raptors, 31 points for Kawhi, but 8 points for Siakam, 2 for Gasol, 8 for Danny Green, and 15 for Kyle Lowry. That's a decent game for Kyle Lowry, but what else is there? 2 points from Gasol. I thought maybe after game 1, you might have had something with Gasol guarding and stopping Giannis on the way to the rim. It worked in game 1, but it was Lopez who just blew them out of the water with his shooting. I don't know what Toronto's going to do, and I know they'll play better at home, but man, Toronto better keep home court because this Bucks team is just so good. And we know they're this good because they were like top number 1 offense, number 1 defense in the league. They're doing the same things that the Warriors did when they won the title. So honestly, we shouldn't be all that surprised with how good the Bucks are, and they're probably going to win the title. Why not? Especially with the Warriors who are so thin, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks win it all. Now, series ain't over. The Raptors are still in this, and they can still, you know, turn this around. But you're going to have to beat the Bucks 2 in a row. It's hard to see anyone beating this Bucks team more than 2 times in a row. Honestly, they're really good. Shout out to the Bucks who have just built this incredible team, incredible depth. They've built it perfectly around Giannis, who is just better every year, and he is the MVP. He's phenomenal. He's destructive. Tonight, Giannis was just a force to be reckoned with. 30 points in 34 minutes, 50% from the field, and he hit a 3. 9 for 12 from the free throw line and 17 boards, 5 assists. Unbelievable. 2 blocks. He's incredible. And he's just going to be a dominant force for the rest of his career in the East. So the Bucks, I'm happy for you for this team that has become so good in a smaller market. It's amazing. I'm excited to watch more of this series. Raptors, you got to turn it around. We need those secondary players to play better if you're going to win any games in Toronto. You just need it. We need better than 8 points from Pascal Siakam. Siakam's just not shown up enough in these playoffs, honestly. More high-level play, and Gasol needs to hit a shot, and Danny Green too, by the way. I'm trying to look. Minus 11 for Danny Green, minus 21 for Siakam. Rough stuff. And it could be that the Bucks were just incredible tonight. You never know. Sometimes you just lose. Anyways, guys, like and subscribe to the channel. I will talk to you later.